Hey everyone, it's Desiree and I am here with Not Too Shabby with their new collection, Let's Get Cool. Oh yes. These are the cards that I'm going to show you today, and I'm going to be working with these products. I encourage you to go check out this release. There are many more items available and lots of beautiful inspiration available. To start out with, I'm going to be using this 6x6 pad called Poolside. It's going to have 24 double-sided designs, and there are 4 of each. You can see you have some great backgrounds and some great images that can become focal points if you fussy cut them, and some other great designs. The stamp set I'll be using is called Tropical Leaves. Has some great sentiments, great for everything. I love the enjoy, I love the breathe, just a note, and then the coordinating dies. And you can see you have a die for every image that is in the stamp set. Yes, the sentiments too. Some great gems, and they are glitter, some great colors that match perfectly. And then the die cuts. Now, you guys know me. I love my collaging and I love my die cuts. You get 2 of every design. So you have some hats, some pulls, some greeneries, some beautiful florals, magazines, drinks, because we got to have a drink when we're sitting by the pool. Absolutely. And this is what we're going to focus on for our cards. I'm going to be doing 2 cards that will have a collage, and then I will also be doing 1 card, and yes, I will be pulling out my colored pencils. So come on, let's get started and let's start getting cool. How about it? For our first card, I've chose these 2 pieces of cardstock, and I'm going to cut them down. My background panel, I always know, is cut to 4 by 5 1/4. When it comes to other pieces, I just cut my pieces. I believe this is about 3.5 inches, maybe by 4, but cut your piece the way that you would want it. I just go by my eye. I know it needs to be smaller than 4 by 5 1/4. Now we're going to have fun once I have that in place using my liquid adhesive. Now we're going to have fun placing our pieces to create our design. I will apologize, of course, at the time that I'm filming this, I have to get a cold. Yes, you gotta love those springtime colds. So I do apologize that I sound absolutely horrible, and in case I sniff. Okay, back to the card. So here I've got the Poolside. I chose 2 of the umbrella tops, and I'm going to tuck them in. I used my double-sided foam squares for the center pool, and now I'm going to tuck my 2 umbrellas underneath. We're going to add a pair of sunglasses. Of course, we have to have our sunscreen, and we're going to add a magazine, and we're always with our phone. Absolutely. Must have our phone nowadays. Although there's times where I like to leave mine away, so I never have to answer it. Yes. I'm going to place this onto my standard A2 size card base, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and this will be a side fold. The sentiment that I chose, simply enjoy. I'm also going to add some of these gems, and I'm going to place those around in the opposite corners. These gems are easily removed with your fingers. I just bend back the plastic acetate, and they easily come off. And we're going to add 1 more into the pool and then off to the side. I always like to put my embellishments with an odd number. For our second card, we're going to create our background. Again, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. That's always the measurement that I know. And then we're just going to create a strip. It's going to be the same length by 5 1/4. I'm sorry, I think I said 5 1/2 before. And I believe this is about 2 inches wide, and we're going to go right down the center of our piece. And now we're going to play with these beautiful florals. I love the shades of them. And we're just going to play with the placement of them. I want the 2 sprigs that are coming off of them to point up and point down. So you can see I'm just having fun looking at that and saying, okay, this is how we're going to go. I will prop both of these up using my foam squares. And if you notice, I'm putting my foam squares towards the center of these pieces. This helps me to tuck other things underneath if I want to. Once I have the second one in place, I'm going to cover up that one leaf, and I'm just going to place a pair of flip-flops underneath these roses. Just checking for my placement. And I'm going to use my liquid adhesive for those and just tuck that right there. The sentiment that I chose was simply be you. And we'll use the liquid adhesive on that and go straight across our rose leaves. Since I have a lot of polka dots in the background, I'm going to be adding some more of those glitter gems as well. And again, this is going on a standard A2 size card base. That is a side folding card base. And again, it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm trying to use colors that are different. Now, here's one thing that I will say. These, once they go on your paper, they are extremely strong. Yes, so kudos, Jamie. Yes. A lot of times when we use these, they can come off easily. Nope, not these. Nope. Pulled my paper, placed another one there. I thought it was awesome. So tried to use different colors around the outside to mimic that design. I grabbed all 3 of the leaves in the stamp set, and the cardstock that I'm using is Strathford Mixed Media Tone Tan, and I'm going to be using my Simon Says Intense Black. Now, this is This is no longer Intense Black. It's fading out. I need a new one, but I love this color when I'm using my colored pencils. It's a soft shade. I just wanted a hint of those lines in this design. So we'll kind of be doing a no line coloring, but they will become faint. You will see them. So when I color pencil, I kind of do the same thing that others do with alcohol markers. I put down my lightest layer all over my image, and I mainly do this with my florals. I'm putting leaves into florals. Yes. I put my lightest color down, and then I come in with my second lightest color. You can see my hand is far back from the pigment of the pencil. That helps me to put a light layer of colored pencil down. You want colored pencils, you need to be able to layer and keep adding your layers, whether you want to darken, whether you want to lighten your color. If you can see now my hand is getting a little closer to that pigment. That means I'm putting more pressure down. If you go in immediately with all the pressure when you put your color down, you will not be able to add more. You're filling in the tooth of that paper. And with colored pencils, you do want a tooth to your paper. This feels smooth, but it works beautifully with colored pencils. You saw that I came in with my darkest one for the finer depth, that dark shadow. And even though I'm using greens, my darkest color is actually indigo. It's an extremely dark blue, almost black, to get that final depth of shade in there. You can see I did the same thing to the other side. I put down my lightest color. I'm now coming in with my medium shade. Now I'm coming in with my darkest green. And you can see I'm coming back further and further to the stem every time I'm adding another shade of color. When I get to that final, I'm really just outlining that stem, that vine in that leaf. And I'm just coming out a little bit to blend it. To blend all of these colors all together, I'm coming in with a heavier pressure with the lightest. You will see I will do that with each of these leaves, and so I do not have to annoy you with my voice. I'll play some music, and you can sit back and watch how I color the other two. And here are our leaves all colored. They each have a different shade, but I used all the same shades from the original one. I had about 5 colors that I was working with. But to give that difference in each of these leaves so that they'll stand out, I just chose a different color combination. I'm now going to die cut these, get them ready for our card panel. I'm going to use the same type of cardstock for my base. And again, I'm just playing around with the layout of the leaves. I'm realizing that if I keep it as a portrait, I'm not going to have as much real estate for these. So I'm going to make this card a landscape card. I decided to put these off to the side. If you wanted to put yours in the center, you certainly could. I like how when you put your focal point, which all of these 3 have become, I'm kind of creating a bouquet with these leaves. You will get that all 3 pieces turn into that focal point, and it'll make your eye draw into them. So wherever you put that, whether you want that in the center or off to the side, it draws the human eye to that. I absolutely love the 2 scratch marks that are in this. And yes, here's the vintage photo. And I'm just going to put 3 of those around that, stuck with, again, sticking with my set of 3s that I do like to use. And then I'm just going to take the sentiment, just a note, down into the corner. Because there are such bright colors, I'm okay with the sentiment being white with a black embossed sentiment. After I put the sentiment, by adding more of those bright gems, everything will just come together. So never be afraid to make something super stand out. Your embellishments will tie it all together. These gems are beautiful colors, and they're bright and they're vibrant. But don't think because, okay, my background is brown, I have to keep the sentiment on that. I can't have a white one. You certainly can. It'll just also allow for the reader of your card or your recipient to see it. And that is our final card. So here are all the supplies that I used. Again, I encourage you to check out her shop. There is more to this collection, and there are so many more designers inspiring you for this collection. Here's the first card that we did. We did an angle of our die cuts. And again, remember, with your die cuts and your cardstock, they are made to go together, so you'll never be wrong with what you collage together. There's our second one with the beautiful roses. And then having fun with our colored pencils, you can have fun with your coloring medium of your choice. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I had a lot of fun with them, a lot of fun of putting the cards together. As always, I will have a link down to Jamie's shop, so make sure you check that out so you can see the entire collection. If you haven't yet, I'd love for you to subscribe. Make sure you hit that thumbs up and enjoy the art that you create. That is what you're creating. Have fun with it. But most of all, remember what's most important for me, guys, still, even with a cold. Always be creative, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Till then.